What's up, guys? This is Black Scout Survival, and today we're going to be talking about my philosophy on survival and kind of just, be a discussion video about exactly what I think about survival and some things that I've seen. First off, what is survival? Survival is, surviving imminent life or death. You're placed in an imminent life or death situation, and you have to survive, or else things are going to go badly. And it's also, to me, I just like to say, checking out of this world prematurely. Anything that you can do, I like that better, because that makes it kind of you become more well-rounded, and there's a lot more skills that I'm going to kind of talk about. So I like the term checking out of this world prematurely. We don't want to do that. Survival styles can be broken down into a few different ways, but basically by length of time. You got short-term survival scenarios, moderate and long-term. Short-term will be like escape and evasion, something the military does. They're behind enemy lines, they're trying to escape, evade, and capture. You got your wilderness survival, modern survival, where you're in a 72-hour scenario surviving and you're waiting to be rescued by search and rescue teams. You have urban survival, a 72-hour type scenario as well, but in an urban situation. You have bugging out, which is a situation where you're moving from point A to point B. The other one would be self-defense, hand-to-hand combat and firearms training. Moderate term would be, wilderness living skills such as bushcraft. It would also be prepping. Prepping is a moderate term because you don't reproduce anything. When you run out of supplies, it's kind of over with. You have to get more. Disaster preparedness would also fall into this moderate term. Then you got long term, which would be homesteading, and a lot of people try to confuse homesteading and prepping. They're two different things. Homesteading is whenever you're living and you're using the land as a renewable resource to get more goods. And then you also have long-term survival would also be primitive survival, primitive living skills, where you're actually surviving long-term like indigenous persons did off the land. So those things are separate entities. But what I like to say is, try to train in all those. Have a little bit of all those. Take the good from it, leave the bad, and just make yourself where you can adapt to any situation, because survival is not A, B, C, or D. It's not some complex algorithm where it's this equals this. It's about fulfilling what your body needs, and your body's going to tell you what it needs. The situation is going to dictate. It's going to dictate what you need at that time. A desert environment is obviously going to be different than an Arctic environment. If you're out in the middle of the ocean, you're not going to be trying to start a fire. It's going to be trying to stay afloat. The situation is going to dictate as to what is the most important thing at that point in time. Fire, food, water, shelter, and safety. All those things are going to be dependent on the situation. If you're hanging off the side of the cliff, you got to get yourself to safety before you start worrying about building shelter. But another thing in the survival world that I see a lot of times in comments, forums, and stuff like that, people will say that someone's doing something wrong. If the outcome's the same, then it's not being done wrong. And I kind of want to clarify that. For example, one thing that I see all the time, and it's really annoying, is the ferrocerium rod, hold the knife and then pull the ferrocerium rod away. They'll say that whenever they see somebody do this, strike down the ferro rod. Well, both start a fire, so how are they really done wrong? It's just two ways of doing something. That's very small-minded, narrow-minded to say that. Both of them had the same outcome. It's just two different ways of doing it, Now, sometimes a lot of people will say bushcraft and survival are the same type of stuff, or, axe and this and that is better than that. Well, a survivalist, he trains to be able to survive, but he doesn't carry around a ton of gear. He might carry around a knife or two, a multi-tool, and a survival kit. A bushcrafter's carrying around a axe, saw, a small knife, pot, this and that, all this type of stuff. There's two different types of schools. It's not apples to apples. It's two different things. So you can't compare them off to each other. It doesn't work, because it's like two different. It's like basketball and football. Two different things. They're similar, but they are two different types of styles of doing something. So keep that in mind. But a lot of this is the reason why we started Black Scout Survival. We wanted you to be, help people realize they need to become a well-rounded survivalist. It's not just one thing. Lock picking, urban survival, self-defense, weapons, bugging out. We try to cover everything. So we can help you guys be more prepared for any situation. And that's kind of like our philosophy on it. That's what our philosophy is: be prepared for any situation, no matter what it is. But check out BlackScoutSurvival.com for more tips and tutorials. Leave any comments, what you think about this subject in the box below. I'd like to hear what you have to think. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And as always, thanks for watching.